as COVID went on, something very interesting happened, which was that our tolerance for the social justice activists diminished. I mean, there were little things like little bits of light, like Sam Smith, from his mansion, posts a photo of him sort of crying a bit and sort of sad because he's lonely. And normally that would be, Sam Smith, they is feeling bad and so on. And there was just total we don't care.
Who is Sam Smith?
Sam Smith is a British. I'm so pleased you don't know of him. It fills me with joy. He's got a horrible whiny voice. He sang one of the worst Bond theme songs against some really stiff competition, as you know. And it was one that nobody had. Anyhow, Sam Smith was the guy who came out as gay, then as genderqueer, and then as non-binary, or look at me.
Or look at me.
It's coming out as look at me.
That's what it should be called. It should be called coming out as look at me. Yeah, what the fuck is non-binary? My God.
So then he came out as look at me, and then a bit later he wanted more attention. He posted a photo of himself in his mansion saying, how difficult he was finding COVID, and there was a complete lack of empathy.
Oh my God.
And I sort of thought things like that were a good sign, because that's it. If at best we're all going to see a massive decline in our living standards and our whole societies have got mass unemployment and so on, then I thought, well, at least we'll hear a bit less from those guys. And then several things happened. The first was that some people started doing things along the following line. As you know, in Madness of Crowds, I do each of these in turn. I do gay, women, that is relations between the sexes, race and trans. And I noticed that the women thing came in first, that people started saying things like, women are suffering most from COVID. And I thought, well, okay, we've got to look at the stats on this. And then the stats came in and it showed that men were disproportionately likely to die. And then the same people said, well, the men might be doing the dying, but the women are doing the suffering or something. And that didn't make very much sense, but it showed that there were some people who needed to look at this through the prism they've looked through everything, which is women, men, disproportionate relations between the sexes. And then you got some people doing that with gay. The BBC in my own country, in Britain, started running pieces about, it's difficult for a lot of LGBT people because they're living with their families who might be homophobic. And again, you sort of read these stories and you thought, well, yeah, a lot of people are living with their families who are their families. I mean, they're having to live with their mum and dad, and they might be heterosexual, and they've just been forced into chastity by government regulations. You know what I mean? It's difficult for everyone.
Yes.
Why do we need to single that out? Then there was a story about somebody who, I kid you not, by the way, Joe, you'll love this one. The BBC had a story which was of a trans person who said, sorry, the headline was, I'm fearful that I'm going to be buried in the wrong gender.
Oh, boy.
And, of course, I just thought, well, a lot of us are just fearful of being buried, period.
Yeah, please, call me a woman when I'm dead. I don't give a fuck.
You can misgender me all you like. I don't want to be buried. That's the first thing.
It's so crazy.
Not this year. Ugh. Not this year.
There's so much nonsense.
So that sort of thing started happening. And I thought, this is but again, I still thought they'll double down, but the majority won't listen to them. And then Minnesota happened, and the race one came back with a vengeance.